In part 1, I told you what it did. In part 2, I told you it came back stronger. I promised part 3 only if you wanted it. You wanted it, so I need to tell you the part I have been avoiding. Not because I forgot, because it is the hardest part to say out loud. In part 1, it visited me. In part 2, it tried to break me. In part 3, it told me the truth about why it had been coming for me specifically. For years, I had assumed I was random, a target of opportunity. Wrong place, wrong time. I was not random. It had been sent. And the night I finally understood by whom and why was the night everything in my life permanently changed direction. After part 2, I had 7 months of peace. Longer than the 19 months after part 1, deeper too. I ran Psalm 91 every night, every single night without exception. I had started attending a small church. Nothing dramatic, just a quiet congregation 2 blocks from my apartment. I want to be honest with you. I was not a perfect believer. I had doubts. I had mornings where the words felt like just words, but I kept reading, because I knew what happened when I stopped. 7 months of peace. And then on a night in March, I woke up at 3:07 a.m. Not with the weight on my chest. Not with the cold pressing in. I woke up completely calm. Which was worse. The previous visits had announced themselves with pressure and dread. My body knew to be afraid before my mind caught up. This time, nothing. Just awake, clear-headed, and the absolute certain knowledge that something was sitting at the foot of my bed. Not on me, not beside me, at the foot, waiting to be acknowledged. I sat up. I looked at the foot of my bed. There was nothing visible. No shadow. No outline. But the presence was the most solid thing I had ever felt in that room. More real than the furniture, more real than the walls. And then, for the first time in 3 years, it did not whisper, it did not press down, it did not speak names. It simply made me understand something. Not in words, not in sound. The way you sometimes wake up already knowing the answer to a question you hadn't thought to ask. It showed me, and I have no better word than showed, a memory, my own memory, from when I was 7 years old. I am not going to tell you the details of that memory. It is mine, it is private. What I will tell you is this: it was a moment from my childhood when I had been deeply afraid, genuinely helpless, and I had prayed, the way children pray, without theology or doctrine, just raw, desperate reaching towards something bigger. And something had answered. I had forgotten that moment completely, buried it under 20 years of rational thinking and comfortable skepticism. The thing at the foot of my bed had not forgotten. It showed me that memory, and then it showed me something else. It showed me itself, clearly, for the first and only time. And what I understood, in that moment, was that it had been coming for me not because I was weak, had reached for, at 7 years old. It had been trying, for 3 years, to make me forget that something had answered. I understood something in that moment that I cannot fully explain in words that fit neatly on a page. The thing at the foot of my bed was not more powerful than what had answered a 7-year-old boy's prayer in a dark room 20 years ago. It never had been. It was only more loud, more persistent, more patient, but not more powerful. I reached for my Bible on the nightstand, and for the first time in 3 years, I did not open it to Psalm 91. I knew exactly where I was going. Verse 10, a verse my pastor had read 3 weeks earlier that had lodged in my chest like it was waiting for exactly this moment. I read it out loud, clearly, without hesitation, without fear. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. The presence at the foot of the bed shifted, not in retreat exactly, more like recognition, like it had heard those words before, in this room, in every room it had ever entered, and it knew, as it had always known, what they meant for the outcome. I kept reading. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. The presence was gone, not dramatically, not with sound or cold or pressure. It simply was not there anymore. The way a shadow disappears, not because it fights the light, but because light is what shadows have no answer for. I sat on my bed until sunrise, Bible open to Isaiah 41, the room warm, the corner empty, and I did something I had not done since I was 7 years old. I prayed, not for protection, not from desperation. I prayed to say thank you. Came when I was 7 and helpless. For the 19 months of peace after part 1. For the 7 months of peace after part 2. For every night the corner stayed empty because something stronger had made it so. And for this night, when I finally understood that the thing that had been coming for me for 3 years had never once, not for a single visit, been the most powerful thing in my room. I called my pastor that morning, told him what had happened. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, it always targets the ones it knows it's already losing. I have thought about that sentence every day since. I want to speak directly to anyone who has been watching this series from the beginning. You watched part 1 because you were curious. You came back for part 2 because something in it felt familiar. You are here for part 3 because some part of you already knows this story is not just mine. Whatever has been visiting you, in whatever form it takes, is not the most powerful thing in your room. It has never been. It is loud, it is patient, it is very good at making you forget the moments in your life when something answered. But it is not stronger than what answers. It never has been. I still read Psalm 91 every night. Isaiah 41 is marked in my Bible now too. Been empty for 14 months. And on the nights when I feel that old familiar edge of dread, that faint suggestion of wrongness, I open my Bible. I read out loud. I remind whatever might be listening of exactly who is in this room with me. And the dread passes. Every time, without exception. Every single time.